Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Knowles, and the buzz around the Hive continues on with Volume 5. Can you believe it? 5 episodes and so more to talk about, so much more to talk about, so much more to discuss. This week, we have obviously our co-host, Dr. Pavelchek, our principal of our school. And this week is Dr. DeGangi, who is our Director of Curriculum and Instruction for Zion Benton Township High School. We're going to talk about SAT. Now, I know, Mr. Knowles, we just had SAT, but you know what? We got to talk about the importance and why it's there and really the nuts and bolts behind it. So, guys, you know what time it is. The buzz is on. Let's roll. Gotta love it. And hey, students, you got music for me that we could use on the Buzz Around the Hive? Email me at knowlesr@zbths.org. Take a listen to it, and if it passes Dr. Pavelchek's desk, we'll use it. Anything we could do to make it a student-driven show. And as saying, you know, we got to have the man that makes it happen. Woo! Dr. Pavelchek, how you doing, sir? How is everything going? You know what? I've had students request that as a weekly thing now, and this has to stick now. The students have spoken, and we have to have this stick as a weekly thing.
I serve at their mercy, Mr. Knowles.
And introducing our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, this is Dr. DeGangi. How you doing, Dr. DeGangi? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Mr. Knowles. Thanks, Dr. Pavelchek, for having me. I don't think I can beat your introduction, but I'll do my best today.
It's okay.
So Dr. DeGangi is is the SAT specialist of what's going on with the SAT. But first things first, Dr. Pavelchek, I mean, what is the SAT? So many of our parents might not understand the importance of it, but what is the SAT and how do we administer it here at Zion Benton?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. The SAT is one of really two very popular what's known as college entrance exams. The SAT is the Scholastic Aptitude Test. It is, I guess for all practical purposes, managed by College Board, which also manages advanced placement testing and systems all wrapped up in that. For years, colleges and universities all over the country, perhaps even the world, right? They want students to take and submit their test scores on either one of what are these popular college entrance tests, SAT or ACT. Here in Illinois and here at Zion Benton Township High School, we focus solely on the SAT test. Now, we know that things are changing a little bit with college admissions. There's no doubt about that. However, the state of Illinois does require that all juniors in the state of Illinois do take, or I should say all students take the SAT sometime before they graduate. That is an expectation that they have on us. It traditionally is taken by juniors in April, but yet we also fold in some of the, I'll call them pre-tests that SAT has. The SAT, PSAT 8-9, the PSAT NMSQT. I'm not going to get into those acronyms right now, but and those are tests that we give both for students in 8th grade when they're arriving, as well as during 9th grade and 10th grade a couple times a year. So, that is the SAT kind of in a nutshell without going into any of the other details. I think more importantly, it's why is it important? And what do we do here, which is why we brought in the expertise of Dr. DeGangi.
So Dr. DeGangi, Dr. Pavelchek has this so expertly crafted the transition. What is the importance of this? Why should students, parents encouraging students, why should students be heavily looking at the SAT? Why is it so important for their development of their educational career?
Sure. Well, I first want to note that while our students' talents, skills, abilities cannot possibly be measured by a single test, the SAT, as you ask with your question, is of the utmost importance for students in high school. As Dr. Pavelchuk mentioned, it is required in the state of Illinois for graduation, but beyond that, it is the premier assessment that we use to measure college and career readiness for all students. And in the state of Illinois and across the country, that test score, while all colleges and universities may not require it, that test score can open so many doors. For example, some colleges and universities do still use it for entrance. So they may look at how students perform in their classes, but they may equally also look at a student's test score on the SAT. Colleges and universities may also use that test score to determine what courses students start in when they begin their coursework, whether that's at Illinois State University or the College of Lake County. They may look at that test score and say, well, what math class, what English class does this student need to start in based on their test score? Lastly, that test score can also provide access to many scholarship opportunities. SAT is often used as an indicator to look at performance again and to sort of put students on the same playing field, so to speak, across the state or across the country, because it's the only thing that's standardized that they all take and can get a similar measure on. So that score is often requested when you're looking at applying for various scholarship opportunities. Lastly, I'll mention here at Zion Benton Township High School, we do have some dual credit opportunities. One of the more regularly taken courses is our dual credit English class, which requires a particular SAT score to qualify for. And then if a student successfully completes that dual credit course, that course should take the place of an English course, for example, at a college or university in the state of Illinois. So lots of various opportunities in the college world. But I'll also say that that test itself measures the kinds of skills we want students to have in order to be successful in career as well. It's looking at reading, writing, critical thinking, mathematics, the kinds of problem solving skills that are important for college and career. So really all around, it's important that students do their very best and that they get the very best score that they can to open up lots of doors and lots of opportunities for them.
Excellent. I love it. Oop, I went, wait, hold on. There we go. Usually Dr. Pavelchuk is the one waving. I'm just like, I'm in a different location today, so I have to wave my lights on. So guys, Dr. Pavelchuk, Dr. DeGangi, how does Zion Benton prepare students for the SAT? How do you get prepared to take such a great, such an important test in their career?
Well, first, I'll start by saying that the rigorous course of studies and the work that we're doing in our course curriculum every single day helps prepare students for the SAT. In all of our coursework, we're asking students to read, write, think critically. In our math courses and science courses, obviously, we're integrating a lot of the mathematics competencies that are measured by the SAT. So we're doing it every day. But the other things that we're doing is we're providing explicit practice for the SAT. It's really helpful for students when they can take practice tests, for example, that reflect what that SAT will look like, that they're reading passages and answering questions that are in the format that the exam itself will be in. In addition, as Dr. Pavelchuk mentioned, we also provide those PSAT practice tests. And what those help us know is if I'm a freshman taking the PSAT 8-9, the score I get on that PSAT 8-9 would tell me approximately what I would get if I took an actual SAT tomorrow. So doing all those practice tests, we know really helps students be prepared for the real test come junior year. And then the last thing I'll say that we're doing that I'm really excited about and really proud to share that the district is doing and that we'll be offering at Zion Benton Township High School is we're going to be providing live 18 hours of online SAT prep right here during our school day, during our coursework. Coming up this spring for our juniors, sometime between January and April. And the reason that we're doing that is we want all of our students at Zion Benton to be able to compete with students all over the state and all over the country. And typically programs like this are reserved for students who have the time and the financial resources outside of the school day to engage in these types of programs. And we said we want every single junior student to be able to engage in that work. So we're going to embed it right here within the four walls of our high school and within the confines of our school day so that every student has an opportunity to get the help and the practice that they need to go into that SAT in April feeling fully prepared and confident.
I think that's completely awesome because I know how expensive that SAT prep can be. Dr. Pavelchuk, anything you want to piggyback off that towards on what the great announcement that Dr. DeGangi just let us know?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And although we're going to run over my 10-minute commitment, we're going to keep it to 11, maybe 12. But I do want to mention what is possibly going to be a real question that students are going to say is, so I got to do this SAT test prep, but I've already made my plans. I am not planning to go to college, right? But there's a strong argument I'm going to make a strong argument that the SAT and the preparation that we provide in our school building leading up to that test, it really is irrelevant to whether a student chooses to go to college or not. These are essential skills, academic or cognitive skills that are transferable to what likely will be some avenue of post-secondary involvement of a student, right? They may choose to go into the military. They may choose to go into a career of some sort. Well, many of those have either entrance tests to get in them, as ASVAT for the military. There are any number of certification tests that are required in our trades. And all of those certification tests typically lead to financial advancement as well. So I just wanted to make sure as students and families are watching this to also consider the level of effort and input that a student's going to make into this is going to pay off somewhere down the road, though it's hard to predict exactly where. So that's why we say all. We want all students to be prepared to do the very best on the SAT. And we are very aware that not all students are going to go to a college, a university, a 2-year or a 4-year, but all students will significantly benefit with regard to their development and improvement of the very skills in math and evidence-based reading and writing that Dr. DeGangi was already talking about at some place in their careers if they choose to do something other than that kind of college pathway.
So, I mean, and at this rate, we are at 12:18. So you were right on track, sir. You were right on track for your 12-minute guess.
I'm trying.
A 12-minute guess. So, guys, that is awesome news. So basically, junior test prep for SAT coming up in-house, completely free of charge. This kind of thing usually costs a lot of money. So this is a great thing for Zion Benton Township High School. I'm sure more details will be here to come. So any final thoughts, Dr. Pavelchik, before we check out today?
I gave mine. Dr. DeGangi, how about you?
Nope, just thank you for having us. And if there are further questions, they can reach out to Dr. Pavelchik or me, and we are happy to answer. But yes, more details to come.
Excellent. So for Dr. Pavelchik, Dr. DeGangi, myself, Mr. Knowles, we'll see you next week, guys. The buzz is real. The buzz around the Hive.